I know Giant fans are sitting here and saying, let's get the pick. Let's try to get the highest pick we possibly can. I know that would be Aaron's or AKA Fishman's thought to it. I'm sure that's Scoops' thought to it. I'm sure that's Speedy's thought to it. I'm sure that's every single Giants fan out there right now. Their thought is, let's get the highest pick. If Hunter's sitting there at 3 or 4 right now for the New York Giants, let's scoop that baby up. So he's our future corner number 1 and our future second wide receiver on this roster. Could you imagine Travis Hunter on one side and Neighbors on the other? It doesn't matter who the quarterback is if you have weapons like that. The fact is right now, Joe Schoen doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Honestly. And as far as John Mara is concerned, we all know John Mara has no respect for Joe Schoen. If anybody watched Hard Knocks, you would know he has no respect for Joe Schoen after what he did with Saquon Barkley. He was not happy that Saquon Barkley went to a divisional team. He was not happy the way he handled the Saquon Barkley situation on Hard Knocks. And another thing, the problem with Joe Schoen is he's too open. He is too open to the public giving his information. There is no reason why. Let me ask you guys a question. And I am a Jet fan. And the Jets have always been open on social media. They've always been open with the Rex Ryan era, the Eric Mangini era, every single coach, the Herm Edwards era, even the Adam Gase era. They were so wide open on as far as where they are and what the team is going to do in the offseason. Joe Douglas is not going to go out there before the season is over and throw anybody under the bus. He's just not. He's not going to do it. And right now, he's probably going to lose his job. And you still don't hear Joe Douglas saying or doing or speaking about, Daniel Jones is not all to blame. And I still think I'm going to have my job when I come by the end of the season. And Brian Daboll should be back as well by the end of the season. The fact is right now, this team has been absolutely terrible. This has been a terrible organization, terribly run. And by the way, John Mara, shame on you for letting go of Tom Coughlin. Tom Coughlin was everything to this organization. He was the face of this organization. You ask guys like Michael Strahan, who's gone right now, has become one of the great broadcasters for Fox and all those other opportunities that he's had since stepping away from football and making millions and millions of dollars doing it. Millions of dollars. Look at Justin Tuck. I've interviewed Justin Tuck 3 times, 3 in person on a show. I've spoken to Justin Tuck off air, and Justin Tuck told me that the biggest mistake the Giants made was letting Tom Coughlin go. And I know you, Jabba, you're a good friend of Eli Manning. I'm sure you've had this conversation with Eli plenty of times. Right now, this New York Giant team is lost. They're lost. They have no idea where the door is going to open for them next. The fact is, what they're doing is privately throwing Daniel Jones under the bus. And Giant fans love it. You know why? They can't stand Daniel Jones. Why? Because he's a Gettleman guy. And Joe Schoen is going to point fingers and say, well, he's not my guy. I draft him. That's the facts. That's what coaches do. That's what GMs do. Yeah, have you heard Brian Daboll say anything besides sneaky wise in his press conference saying, well, it's not one man. Brian Daboll, and you can say whatever you want, even when Robert A.K. Bambi Saleh was fired. If you remember, you never, after Bambi got fired, besides there were speculations that him and Aaron Rodgers were not getting along, did you ever hear from the press that, that Bambi was telling the press that Aaron Rodgers is the cause of why this team is not getting along in the locker room, or this team is not figuring out the offensive side of the game? I mean, obviously, that it is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a big reason why this offense hasn't figured it out, but you didn't hear Bambi saying it. So it says a lot about this organization. It says a lot about where the Giants are heading. The Giants are a clown organization. They're a clown organization. They're still trying to figure out who's the next coach, where the next coach is coming from. I thought Brian Dable was going to be the quarterback whisperer. He was going to fix Daniel Jones. As soon as Daniel Jones had a good year with Saquon Barkley 100% healthy, they decided to part ways a year later with Saquon Barkley and pay Daniel Jones. If you're going to pay one, you pay the other. And that was the problem with the New York Giants. The reason why the Giants, and by the way, for all the Giant fans on social media, YouTube, when we posted up the whole Saquon Barkley thing and saying that I don't know what I'm talking about, and you're going to tell me, look at what Tracy's doing. Yeah, Tracy's doing. You're going to tell me Tracy is Saquon Barkley? Tracy is going to draw the defenses the way Saquon Barkley is drawing the defenses right now for the Eagles? Come on, guys. Open your goddamn eyes. Are you that stupid? You're going to tell me Tracy, who was a 5th or 6th round draft pick, is Saquon Barkley? It's a huge difference when you have Saquon Barkley in the roster and Tracy. I mean, I'm not saying Tyrone Tracy is not a good player. He's a good player. He's good. He's not Saquon Barkley. Was Tracy drafted in the 1st round? Was he a top 5 pick? It's ridiculous. Shame on Joe Shane to try and consider Singletary when you decided to go after, what do they call him? The tank or whatever the freak they call him. He is not. Motor, whatever. Motorhead, motor balls. He's dragging his balls because he can't stay healthy. All right? I am tired of hearing every single Giant fan tell me, I don't know what I'm talking about. Are you a Giant fan? You stupid Jet fan. Here's what I'm going to tell you, Giant fans. Just like the Jets organization, the only thing you got is 4 Super Bowls and 4 of them in a 30-year span. The Jets have not won a Super Bowl in 50-some-odd years, so I guess that's a good position that you're in. The one thing I could say, this is the one thing I could say and I could preach, the Jets are in the AFC East. They've been in the AFC East for a very long time. They had to compete with Tom Brady. Who did the Giants have to compete with in all those years in the NFC East? What quarterback? Give me one that's actually good. Give me one.
Your boy Donovan McNabb.
Donovan McNabb. Stop bringing up Donovan McNabb because I'm not bringing up that time. In the last 20 years, give me a quarterback that really stands out to you. Really, give me one.
No, that's the best one, I'm saying.
Well, let's not talk about Donovan McNabb. The last 20 years, besides Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick. You want to say Michael Vick?
Okay.
All right, Michael Vick. The Giants have a division, and they're in a conference that honestly is up and down. It's been up and down for the last 20 years. And they've had how many GMs? They, for years, stuck with one coach for like 10 or 12 years. Bill Parcells was there for 10 years before he decided to part ways with them. And before Tom Coughlin, it was really a span of 10 to 11 years where they continue to keep a coach. Now, over the last, 15 years, they've had, 7 coaches in 15 years? That's embarrassing. Embarrassing. That has something to do with John Mara, Steve Tisch. Everybody's saying that them and the Pittsburgh Steelers for years as owners, the Rooneys and the Maras have been the face of the NFL. Really, the face of football. The only thing I could say this, I'll say this and I'll be very, very nice to Giant fans right now. I believe that one way or another, the Giants are going to get Archie Manning. I believe that. You know why? And I'm going to tell you why. Because I have seen it once, and I believe it. You will see it again. The Giants are not going to be a good team next year. You can quote that. You can sell that. You can put it and wrap it up like a little bow. The Giants are not going to be good next year. And if they're anywhere in the top 5 next year, and Archie Manning obviously declares into the NFL, Archie will be a New York Giant. You can book it. I'm going to tell you this right now. Bet on it. I don't know how much. I don't know what the bet is right now. Bet on it. 1,500 to 1, whatever it is. Bet on it. He will be a New York Giant next year if he goes into the draft.
Any aspect of not far off, I don't see where he can even say that, and it's in the right direction. And Errol, to your point, it's like, asking the Giants fan, it's like, yeah, you're 2-8. Who cares who starts at this point? Go get somebody and get the best one you can. I mean, I don't think you're going to have to try and throw games. I don't think you're good enough to win games. So I don't think there's any throwing of the game to get a better pick that has to go on. And it's just one of those where they need a lot of pieces of the puzzle, and I don't know if they're on the floor, in the drawer, the dog chewed on them. I don't know where they're at, but they're gonna have to, I think, just go buy some new ones and see what happens.
Joe Shane has some audacity to say that the Giants are not far off and are heading in the right direction. How can you say that with a straight face when you're 2-8? Oh, we're really good. We're just a quarterback away. You paid a guy $40 million a year for 4 years, and you're still a quarterback away. Maybe the rule of thumb is don't pay someone a lot of money, but not the most money. You're just paying for okay and paying him at like he's really good. If you're going to spend on a great guy or don't spend at all. We would have been better off with Joe Flacco this year. Let's face it. We would have been would we have won more the same amount of games? Maybe, but we wouldn't be paying him $40 million. I'll tell you right now, it's really embarrassing to come out and say something like that. They're officially throwing him under the bus. He won't play another snap for the Giants. They can't. There's a $23 million injury guarantee in Jones's contract, which Shane signed, which he said, by the way, is his only regret, putting that clause in the contract. So now they can't even play him, even though they can't legally say that because the NFLPA will come down on them for not playing him because of a contractual agreement. So he has to say it's for football reasons. Well, I don't think that there are football reasons to play Drew Lock over anybody in the NFL. And Tommy DeVito might actually be better than Drew Lock. So that's who we're going to deal with. A couple of bums for the rest of the season. It's going nowhere. We'll have a top 5 pick again. I'm sure we'll win 2 of the last 3 games. So it's pick number 5, not pick number 2 again. So we don't get the quarterback again. But I'll take Arch Manning, Errol. I'll take him every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I know about that pedigree.